Good day, everybody. How you doing? This is Lewie coming at you. I want to start out telling you a little story, and it's a true story. Actually, it happened just the other day. I was sitting at work, doing my job, and I happened to look out the window, and I saw this mother raccoon, or assume it was the mother. She was a large raccoon, and she was being followed by two smaller raccoons, which I assume were her children. Anyways, in this place that I was working, I was sitting above the rooftops of these series of buildings that, they went like this, okay? And it was like 5 of them like that. Anyway, she's running along the side of it, and the two little ones are running after her. And she drops down, and she's actually out of my sight, okay? And the two little ones, the two smaller ones, they ain't little, but they're smaller. They stood at the edge, and they're looking around, trying to figure out what to do, I guess. And I could hear her chattering at them. She'd chatter a little bit, and they'd continue looking around, and she'd chatter some more. And they continue looking around. The next thing I know, I see her running off, and the two smaller ones jumped down to join her, and they caught up to her. They got to the next building, and she jumped up to the next one. And the two smaller ones just stood there. They're trying to figure out what to do. And she chattered at them. I could still hear her chattering. And she, they just looked around, and she chattered again. And she started to run off, and they jumped up and joined her. And they went on like that. By this time, I had binoculars, and it happened at all 5 buildings. Every time they got to a different roof level, the same thing. She'd chatter, and they'd hesitate. She'd chatter, and then take off, and then they'd join in. And I got to thinking about this. She's teaching her children, or so I assume, her children, how to get around and survive in the environment that they have. She's teaching them to be raccoons. And I got to thinking about that. You don't hear of raccoons stealing. You don't hear of raccoons doing anything that they aren't supposed to do. They do what they're supposed to do. I got to think, well, why is it we consider ourselves the intelligent species, and we can't get our kids to do the things we want them to do? Right now, a lot of our kids, not all of ours, fortunately, I'm one of the lucky ones, my kids aren't involved, but there's a lot of kids out there rioting. I'm not talking about protesting. I'm talking about rioting. I'm talking about destroying property, hurting innocent people, and everything else. And I can't imagine any parent raising their kids to do that. I can't imagine any parent wanting their child to do something so wrong and so destructive. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I got to wondering, what is it that's different with the animal world than it is with the human world? Why is it the animal worlds, even though we consider ourselves to be more intelligent, the animal world seems to be the more intelligent one? And I got to talk with somebody about this, and they said, well, man has free will. You know what? They're right. Animals don't. They are taught to do as they're supposed to. But there's another part of it. We, as human beings, use emotion to interrupt our thought process. In other words, if there's something that just doesn't sit right with us, we try and change it. We try and fix it. We try and keep it from happening again, which is a great attribute to a point. All right? When you let your emotions get the better of you to do things that you shouldn't be doing, then you need to take a step back and say, wait a minute, why is my emotion overriding my intelligent thought? And that's where we're having a problem right now with these young kids and these people who are rioting. Again, I'm not talking about protesting. I'm talking about the riots. We'll get into the protesting on another day. But that's where the problem lies. We're not teaching our kids to use their heads. We're teaching our kids to use their emotions. And as long as we're teaching our kids to use their emotions, and you've got college professors and high school teachers and middle school teachers and elementary teachers teaching our kids to use their emotions for thought, we're going to have these problems. So what we need to do is take the emotions, allow them to have their emotions, but teach them to use their intellectual thought to respond to their emotions instead of using their emotions to respond. And I think once we start doing that, we're going to see a whole different generation of kids being brought up, and maybe the American way of life will get back to where it's supposed to be. But this generation we got now, and I take part of the blame because I helped raise some of this generation, even though my kids turned out all right. But my generation really screwed the pooch on this one. We did not teach our kids to be disappointed and deal with disappointment. We taught them the wrong way. We taught them that they could succeed at anything if they put their minds to it, and not to let anyone tell them no, when in fact you get told no all the time, and we didn't teach them that part. We didn't teach them how to deal with it. The raccoons that I'm talking about, they're teaching their kids the right way. What we need to do now is start teaching our kids the right way. And I think a lot of the problems we have right now will be resolved and go away. That's enough of that. I'll talk to y'all later.